be a good parent.
Yeah, there is no manual. Let's tell you.
Yeah, my mom reminds me of that every friggin' day. But I mean, you guys probably had to go through different trials and tribulations than a heterosexual couple, unfortunately, because there's a lot of ignorance and bias out there that you're going to have to deal with. But in general, I mean, has it been awesome?
It has.
Yeah.
It's been unbelievable. One of the other things that the adoption certification process has is they require you to do certain parenting classes, and a lot of those center around how to educate yourself on the talking about adoption, allowing your child the freedom to know that they were chosen, making their story so that they grow up knowing that they were wanted and that they were loved, and the story and everything. So I'm waiting to get to that point, and right now I'm just dealing with a child who hasn't figured out gravity, has no fear whatsoever of anything.
She's a adrenaline junkie.
She's been walking since she was right before she turned 9 months, and she's just been on the go ever since. And, she's genuinely happy. She is absolutely just social and loving. And I think we were a little nervous at our age, because most of our friends have kids that are going into college. we got a baby running around. But Heather, did you want to talk about how it's been for you?
It's just been amazing. Part of me at some point in my life when I was younger wanted kids, but then I didn't want kids, just because I didn't want to have to raise a child in today's society with all the stuff that was going on. And, and I'm glad that when it was presented to me that I did it. And, when I said yes that night and it was 3:00 in the morning, there was no hesitation from me from the moment that it came out of Jen's mouth, that, hey, there's a baby that, needs to be adopted. And, there's a lot more to our story, about the the baby and the adoption and, everything that's gone on since then. I mean, we could probably take up another 2 more hours of your show. We won't, though. But no, yeah, it's been amazing, and I'm grateful that this woman thought of us, and some part of me, I don't know how, but I feel like I owe her something, because she's given me something that I never knew that I wanted as much as I know now, I guess. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. Total sense.
Total sense.
Or dollars or something. I don't know. Yeah, so I mean, so from this moving forward, she's obviously, of course, not old enough to go to school yet. Do you kind of worry about her initial, introduction into schools and stuff like that, where there may be some, conflict, I guess you could say, not like physical conflict, but there's going to be, I'm sure, unless society actually gets their head out of their ass sometime in the next 2 years. There's going to be, how are you going to deal with that kind of thing where she goes to school and then she comes back heartbroken because someone was making fun of her because she has 2 moms? I mean, have you guys thought about that? Have you figured out some sort of way to try to make her understand that it's okay, that there's perfectly normal to have 2 moms?
Yeah, and I think, because we have other friends that are couples that are lesbian or that are gay, it won't be something so awkward for her, because she's already exposed to it a lot. But one of the things that, we have to, not that we have to do, but that we want to do is when we went to that adoption, the classes and stuff, when we talk about her story, it was suggested that we kind of make it like a book. We write kind of like a novel about it. And, that way we introduce not only her and her adoption to her and to our everyday life, but the fact that she has two mommies and that there are, some couples that are like us, and then there are some couples that aren't like us. And, so in the next year or so, that'll start to be introduced to her. She's already been physically exposed to, other couples or other gay couples, with kids, but, it'll just be part of her everyday life, as she learns it. But when she does go to school and, she comes home heartbroken, I think that'll be, very difficult for me to deal with, because it'll be my child and, she's hurting. So it'll probably be the first time that I'll really have to deal with something like that. So I'm not really looking forward to it. But, I try to stay positive. Hey, what are you doing?
Sorry about that. Our
Giving
dogs
those
are
dogs.
our dogs are deciding that it's time for them to play. Little shits.
Sure.
Well, they're not little. They're
Right.
75
our
and
dogs
90
too.
pounds. So, yeah. For some reason, they like to explore their play potential in the middle of our radio show every week.
Maybe we need to have a segment like dogs.
Yeah, dogs and how they interrupt pretty much everything. So,
Oh, see, as
Right.
soon as we
Yeah.
put the
as soon as
hot
we
seat
put the
on,
hot
we're
seat
like,
on them, now they're all calm.
they all shut up.
They're all sitting over there going, "What?"
That is.
But so I we'll just have to work with her and get her to understand that not everybody is maybe as open-minded and that they believe in their own things, and I'm sure it'll be difficult for her to understand those things at kindergarten or first grade, but we've already talked about schools, and up until our current president-elect, we kind of knew what direction we were going to go, and
Now the vouchers and everything. We're not sure what our school system's even going to look like.
yeah, so now we're kind of okay, now what?
Yeah,
We'll just have to.
So nice of government to throw that wrench in the monkey there. Yeah, we're all looking for schools,
Right.
but now we don't know if there's going to be schools. Yeah.
Right.
And so I think my parents and I were actually talking about this the other night. We had taken my mom out for dinner for her birthday, and we were talking about, schools and lunches and having to work for it, or that stamp that happened to that kid in Peoria on his arm, what was it, insufficient funds or no lunch money or
lunch
something.
money. Yeah.
So my mom was like, well, let's homeschool her. Well, that solves the problem, from an educational standpoint, but what about from a social standpoint and understanding really how this world works and, everything that comes with it? I mean, I don't want to rob her of that, but I also want to make sure that, she gets a great education.
Right, and that's one of the things that a lot of
Absolutely.
people don't seem to understand about homeschool is that it's fine to homeschool your children, but the fact is they lose a lot of social interaction and interpersonal communication skills by not participating in social, interactions on a daily basis
Norman
with people
Bates?
outside the Norman Bates. Yeah, let's throw that one in there.
I just
But I
did.
mean, I knew people that were homeschooled that were intelligent but didn't have people skills, and that's one of the benefits of the public schools is that you learn how to interact in a social environment, whereas when you're homeschooled, you don't have that same ability, and that's one of the things that I don't like about the idea of homeschooling. Not that the education portion of it is bad, but that the social interaction portion of it is creates introverts.
Well, and that's really important because when you get to the point to where you're in the workforce, you don't have the luxury unless you're, I don't know, fucking smarter than me, of starting your own business and not having to actually interact with a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
You have to actually go to a place and do stuff for a paycheck
with people
for
that are
somebody
not
else
intelligent.
and work with other people. I mean, so I guess I don't
Yeah.
understand if you don't have any kind of social grace early on in years. I just don't think that's something you can easily acquire. Like, okay, now I'm in this room with 30 other people that I've never met. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't know what they're supposed to do, but I'm supposed to
Interact
with them. I mean, I think that actually kind of robs you later on.
And it does, I think. And one of the things that we decided very early on with Charlotte is that she pretty much goes everywhere with me. I mean, we just went through a rebuild on our house, and so all the trips to Home Depot and Lowe's and every other kind of store, we take her with us. And when we're standing there at checkout, I'll talk to her, giving knuckles to the cashiers or, saying hi or saying bye. I mean, so those are things that we're trying now to work on with her so that she's not so shy. But we'll have to work on stranger danger, pretty soon. But
Yeah,
Right.
because, Scott's out there. So
Oh, wait, wow, that's kind of a low blow, don't you think?
Well, that seems to be the dilemma is kids are either like in constant stranger danger mode or, oh, this person's giving me attention. I'm going to talk to them. I'm going to let them basically occupy my time. So it's kind of actually scary. I can't even imagine what it's like as parents to basically say, you can talk to strangers, but don't take candy from them. Don't get into a car with them. Don't go off to their home. I mean, it's really kind of scary. How do you pass that on to a youngster that has like no life experience and they don't know. They just want to be everybody's friend.
Right, exactly. Well, and, I kind of go back to my childhood. I remember my sister and I walking, and we were from a real small town in Fargo, North Dakota, actually. So, and we were taught the stranger danger, but everybody pretty much knew everybody in that town. But we were told never to accept rides and, just the basics. And I remember my sister, when we were walking home in the rain, a lady pulled over and said, "I'll give you a ride." And my sister looked at her and she says, "Are you going to kidnap us?" And the lady said, "No." So we got in the car and she took us home. So I don't know how much preparation. I mean, here it was two kids that had it like ingrained in them not to do that. And our logic was, well, if they're not going to kidnap us. Yeah. But the other thing is like there's all these basic fears, I think, for parents. So especially like when I think about just heterosexual parents, there's all these fears, these stranger dangers, these other things. I don't think what people in the gay community talk about too much is the fear of people literally attacking us just for being us. That's not something that you're going to hear about in a heterosexual community. Or, if we come across somebody maybe in the school or something and they're like, how is this baby being raised by two lesbians? And they try to take her. Or, I know it sounds crazy, but these are kind of these like fears that I have. It's kind of scary sometimes.
Well, it's not really, it's not really crazy. It's not really crazy.
I know.
People are
That's the
crazy.
problem.
I mean, look at
They
all
often-
of the, for example, the attacks on transgender,
Exactly. The
the
violence.
hate crimes, the violence out there, just because not because there's anything
Mm-hmm.
wrong, just because there's a difference, and
Exactly.
we're in the 21st century and we're still dealing with the same type of hatred and anger and violence that we had to deal with 60 years ago during the civil rights era. And it's like a recurring
Exactly.
theme in our country. So it's not outlandish to think about and worry about those kind of things because there is, even in the 21st century, that possibility that we're going to have to worry about that kind of stuff. It's sad that people have to concentrate or think about that kind of stuff because we really shouldn't at this point in time. But we're